Hello and welcome to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy and we're here today with another episode of Off the Rip. If you're new to the channel, hello, welcome, come on in. All my returning viewers, you know how we do. Let's get the show on the road. Well, it's been a while since I've done an Irish and I think it's been a little overdue, don't you think? So let's get into it. So this is an Off the Rip episode. We're going to do the rundown for all the newbies real quick. So part one, Off the Rip, is a first part to a three-part series that Mr. Randy does when he does a review for a whiskey, wine, libations of sorts. Part one, Off the Rip, we get the bottle home, most important part. Then we crack it open, pour it in a glass, have our first pour, and share my first impressions with you because, gosh darn it, you're just so awesome. Part two, halfway down the bottle, halfway-ish, because we don't know where we're going to stop. Hopefully it's ish area. We're going to do a full review. I'm going to go on the internet. I know. Pray for me. I'm going to find as much or as little information as possible, bring it back to you, and no longer trying to fit it into the 10-minute time slot because it just ain't happening. Come back, share my information that I've gathered with you, and we'll talk about it. Part three, all the way down, is called the final pour, and thusly named because we take the final pour, we pour it in the glass, and we what? Compare it to, yes, the first pour we're having off the rip. So this is an Irish. Set that down and let it breathe. We're going to take a look at this. Yeah, look at that. See the harp? Yeah, 1922, circa 1922. Public out. Okay. Eiregold Irish whiskey. Special reserve, not the regular, the special single malt, single grain and single malt Irish whiskey. This is bourbon cask matured, triple distilled like every Irish, well, except for the two gingers. The two gingers was only double distilled. 40% alcohol by volume, your standard 750 milliliter or 75 centiliters, as they say in the metric system, which Mr. Randy truly believes in the metric system. Eiregold, a taste of Ireland. I'll give you a good quick looky-loo there. Hyde Irish whiskey. Cork County, yeah. There you go, Eire. Hey. There's that government warning always shoving its nose in other people's businesses. Anyways, here we are. Off the rip. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. That's like liquid gold. Look at that. I haven't seen a color like that in a while, but we're gonna nail down that exact color come the full review. What is that? Crusties. The cat sneeze on it? I think the cat might have sneezed on it. What the heck? So let's go ahead and get a little bit of a viscosity test here. It usually only comes out after I get the first palate on there. So let's go ahead and get the first palate. I haven't had an Irish in so long we skipped right past the nose, didn't we? Okay. Well, we had to get that first palate out of the way anyways, right? On the nose, it is very, very light. Almost barely there kind of a deal. 40% triple distilled. Bourbon cask matured. Very, very light on the nose. It's very light, it's very delicate. It does come off as somewhat of a rich and deepness to it, but it's very, very light. It's a very, very beautiful color. That's like liquid gold. Liquid golden sunshine. Look at that. So viscosity, look at that. That's some good viscosity. Look at that. Some fat legs just raining down from the heavens. Whew. Eiregold, I think I love you. What's not to love? So let's go ahead and get on the second palate. Well, the viscosity transfers very well. It's very rich, kind of thick a little bit. Not quite as like a syrup, but it's got some thickness. Definitely way, way, way far from watery. The palate itself is also just as light as the nosing. I'd say there's probably a little more to the palate than the nosing. Let's get one more on there. So there's one thing I think really overall, besides the triple distillation, one thing that really sets Irish whiskey apart from Scotch is the amount of deep, rich, and intensity. Irish always seems to be very light, more of the sweeter side and the lighter side, where Scotch usually likes to be a little bit more of a spicy, a little more peaty, a little more heavy. But don't get it wrong. There's Irish out there that definitely give a run for its money. I'm speaking of the Dead Rabbit. If you've never had the Dead Rabbit, go ahead and look up that video in my library. The Dead Rabbit series. Well, actually, there's only one, but so the cheeks are kind of like starting to feel it. The heat's starting to build up in the back. The cheeks are getting a little bit astringent. You probably hear the sort of the slander in the speech. The cheeks are tightening just a little bit. I'm trying to relax them. I'd say let's get one more on the palate and then we'll do the finish. Do be careful with this. It is very easy, very light, and relatively smooth. It's very delicious. There's not a whole lot of special coming out of it, but definitely won't let you down. I forget how much I did pay for this. I do believe it was on sale. And there was only one place, there was only one store within traveling distance, about an hour. I retrieved this bottle when I went out to get the Syndicate Scotch. And while I was out there, I visited a few other stores. This was one of the bottles I found on the shelf. This was supposed to be on shelves in a store in my area, in my immediate area. Was not, has not, never been. Don't know why they advertise it if it's just not there. But it has been on my list for some time, and while I was out and about an hour away, I went ahead and went looky-loos. Guess what I found? Eiregold. I also found another one which I didn't bring back with me because I had exceeded my budget for the outing. I decided I'm most likely going to be taking another trip that way to get a secondary bottle of the Syndicate because it is that great. I will go back out. I will spend another 2 hours in a seat behind the wheel. I will get that other Irish whiskey and a secondary bottle of the Syndicate 58.6. If you haven't checked that video out, go ahead and look it out. It's out now. So let's go ahead and get the finish on this, and we'll put it to rest. We're at 8 minutes. It has been too long. It has been too long since I've had an Irish. Very easy, very smooth, relatively sweet, lightly spiced. The gums are now starting to come in. The gums usually don't want to come in until the finish. The finish is where I really work the rest of that pour. Very smooth, very easy, very light, delicate, and delicious. Irish has always been that way, except for a few exceptions where they push the extreme. Dead Rabbit is one of those where it comes in very, very spicy. But it's very nice. It's very different from your average Irish. So again, on this finish, I'm getting a lot in the gums. A lot in the gums. And the back end, that little bit of heat building up is pushing a 3 out of 5. That's amazing for an Irish. And we did say that this is only a 40%. This is very nice. Now that we're pushing 10 minutes on the video, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. So let me know what you think in the comments. Have you had the Irish? You know what I'm saying. Have you had this? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I'm pretty sure this is a good one.